We like to brag about being the giant of Africa. If you say something about Nigeria, you look at Nigeria as the giant of Africa. You know, there is one president, president of a country in Africa, I can't remember, that said when Nigeria coughs, when Nigeria sneezes, the rest of Africa catches cold. And those are the kind of statements that Nigerians celebrate. We brag a lot. We have Davido, we have Wizkid, we have Burna Boy. Those are the things we celebrate about. But we are a country of noisemakers, empty vessels. We just take pride in making the loudest of noises. Another cause of this thing is that a lot of Nigerians are not privileged to travel out of Nigeria. There are people who have grown up until 50 years, they have not traveled out of their local government areas. And your knowledge is not bigger than your geographical location most of the time. So we don't really know. A lot of people think, and when you want to compare Nigeria with other countries, people would quickly want to compare with Europe and America. I do not even see that as befitting. You know, it's like wanting to compare Rolls Royce with a motorcycle. No, compare motorcycle with motorcycle. Nigeria is in Africa, and Nigeria is colonized by Europeans. There are other African countries that are colonized by Europeans. Compare Nigeria with those countries and let's see how much of a giant Nigeria is. Take South Africa out. South Africa and Nigeria no be mates at all, even though they have some internal realities that are similar, but remove South Africa. South Africa has a dwellers colonization. So they have white people who are who have claimed to be South Africans. So leave South Africa. Let's just focus on the sub-Sahara Africa, because I've always argued that North Africa is not Africa. Those people just found a way to that place. Let's talk about sub-Sahara Africa, and let's see how much of a giant the Nigeria is. If you want to compare Nigeria with other African countries right now, I can tell you that Nigeria is the lowest on the hierarchy in terms of whatever you want to think about. We are the lowest. Maybe you want to compare. If we start talking about these things now, you will see that you end up comparing Nigeria with places like Mogadishu, Sudan, places that are fighting a civil war. Those are the people you might want to end up think Nigeria is better than. Well, if you start comparing Nigeria with countries that are going through a civil war, it means you are in the same WhatsApp group. It means Nigeria is going through a civil war. And true to that, what's happening in the north can be likened to a civil war. Enough for the American soldiers to step their boots on. But away from that, more is a psychological warfare. Nigeria is going through a psychological war. There is no Nigerian that thinks right, and the psychological war is worse than the physical battle, because physically we can see that people are fighting, lives are being taken, communities are sacked, destruction. You can now get support, you can get aid, you can get, international support. And if properly managed, that war can be brought to an end. But the war that happens in the mind. It's like the Cold War. You are not seeing that there is a physical battle. Everywhere seems okay, but the minds of an average Nigerian is totally damaged. And when your mind is damaged, you are finished. It is because of the destruction of the mind of an average Nigerian that Nigeria is going through an unending tribulation, be it in politics, be it in education, agriculture. Every aspect of Nigeria is not okay. And the simple reason is because every Nigerian is not okay. Now, people wey dey okay, they produce an okay system. So there is something fundamentally wrong with the Nigerian system. But so that we do not digress, if you want to talk about economy now, we will say Nigeria has the largest economy, Nigeria has the biggest GDP, gross domestic product. That means Nigeria is very rich. We'll mention Dangote, Elumelu, we'll mention a lot of very rich people that other countries do not have. That's true. But more important is the GDP per capita. The GDP per capita. Nigerian government do not ever talk about it because that's where the fraud of microeconomics is hidden under. They don't want you to know. GDP per capita means having gotten a very large GDP. How does your population fare upon it? So, for example, Cameroon, let me use Cameroon because I would actually use Cameroon going forward. Cameroon might have, let's say, a GDP of 1 million naira. Let's use naira, for example. And then their population. Take note that the population of Cameroon is like the population of Lagos. Those are the kind of countries we easily want to compare ourselves with. Nigeria is better than Cameroon. When you compare yourself with a country whose population is like Lagos, then something is wrong with you. So Cameroon have a GDP of 1 million naira, for example, and their population is like Lagos. So that 1 million naira is now distributed amongst every Cameroonian. So after sharing, each Cameroonian have 100 naira each. So the GDP is 1 million naira and the GDP per capita is 100 naira. So each Cameroonian benefited 100 naira out of their 1 million naira. Then take it to Nigeria, the giant of Africa. Big population, big industries, richest of people, churches and the rest. Our own GDP is 10 million naira. Remember, Cameroon is 1 million. Our own GDP is 10 million naira, and then they want to share it amongst Nigerians. And then each Nigeria, out of 10 million naira, gets 20 naira, given our population. Between Nigeria and Cameroon, who is to consider themselves giant? Cameroon, 1 million naira GDP, 100 naira GDP per capita. Nigeria, 10 million naira GDP, 20 naira GDP per capita. And the way it happens in Nigeria is very classic. The class society in Nigeria is something someone should have to cry about. The gap between the rich and the poor is something unimaginable. Resources are not evenly distributed. So even in that 20 naira that is supposed to be evenly distributed to go around. There are people like the politicians, like the economic giants, that would go home with 100 naira. There are people that will go home with 1,000 naira. And while they are doing so, some other people are being shortchanged down the pecking order. So if someone went home with 100 naira, there is someone that will go home with 5 naira because that person has taken from them. If someone went home with 1,000 naira, there is someone that would have gone home with 20 kobo. To the extent that you are exploited, it will get to the point where there will be someone that would go home with absolutely nothing. So tell me, in this situation between Nigeria and Cameroon, who should brag about being giant? If I had 100 naira and you are having 20 naira, are we mates? I will buy a whole lot of things. I will live a better life than you would ever imagine. So when you start shouting Cameroon, sorry, Nigeria is the giant of Africa, Nigeria is the this, it's just on papers, and it's as a result of ignorance. Nigeria is no giant whatsoever. That's just fake nickname we use to deceive ourselves. But let's talk about electricity. Nigeria is a country in the dark. We do not understand what electricity can do for us, apparently because we've never experienced electricity. Nigeria has never experienced electricity in its history. What we've experienced is NEPA. NEPA is not electricity. NEPA is never expect power always. It graduated into something they call PHCN. Please hold candle now. We've never experienced electricity. You cannot say a people that have not been powered for a whole week. I am a Nigerian. A people that have not been powered for, I have not seen power supply in Nigeria for a whole week. I don't know of someone who have seen. Your experience might be different from mine, but I'll speak about myself, or I'll speak for myself. I have not seen. I think I remember that while in either secondary school or primary school, we've had uninterrupted power supply for 3 days. 3 days, that's the best, as in morning till night to the next morning till night. Maybe I fit dey sleep sef wey I no know say dem don take light inside sleep, but as I wake up I still see light wey I bin see for the other day. So for 3 days I've experienced. That's the most I've experienced all my life as a Nigerian. I am very old, forget say I look young, but that's what our reality is. So we've never had electricity, we've never had power supply. The one that people are talking about, national grid like this, currently, I do not even understand what national grid is. It's during Buhari that I started hearing about national grid. The only thing we've always known is that there is no light. Light is so important to everything. It was the first thing that God created, because without light, you are blind, you can't see, you can't progress. There is a metaphysical meaning to light. At the entrance of your world, there is light. Light is the most important aspect of human life, and Nigeria have never seen light. All right, let me do some sort of comedy. But it's a true life story. It's my personal story. I I had a girlfriend, or I been get Bunny. Maybe I go use codes. I been get Bunny from Cameroon. Bunny won't come visit me for Nigeria for December, 1 year like that. You know? So we've planned, we've arranged. She begin come. Take note, she came on her transport fare. She still bought one or two. She brought me chocolate, big bucket of chocolate. I do not remember when last a Nigerian saw chocolate. She brought me a bag of rice. We also do not know that a lot of the rice we consume in Nigeria are from Cameroon. They will not tell you the truth. What they will do is to print bags carrying Nigerian identities. So when that rice arrives Nigeria, they will rebag them and give the Cameroonians their bags. And then you would think Nigeria produces rice. I am not saying Nigeria does not produce rice, but the quantity is very little. A lot of what we eat in Nigeria comes from the Cameroon you think you are bigger than. So when they get to the border, they don't ban importation of rice. So, but when they reach the border, you know as they be. Customs and immigrations go chop. They go come comot eye. People go pass. It happens every day. The people who have banned importation, they know it. It is the people who banned the importation that are letting the crossover happen and make a lot of money. So whoever is coming, whether they say it's Peter Obi, if Peter Obi might ever come, I would not feel jealous, because where are you going to start fixing the country from? Corruption and impunity do not pretend to be. In fact, they form the basis of whatever communication two or more people are having in Nigeria. And this is not just about the political class, the church, the mosques, the traditionalists, school, everywhere. Interpersonal relationship, you and person they relate on a normal like this for street. The only thing that is in the mind of that person is to defraud you or outsmart you to their own advantage. That's a symptom of hunger. So Barney can't show. Our plan na say we go dey together for 1 week, then I think on the 2nd or 3rd of January, he go back. But Barney can't show for 24th December. I go receive am. We reach. So they enter. No light. What am I wasting? Turn on the lights, I tell am say light no dey. Say sure. For Nigeria. Because the impression they have of Nigeria is, that giant of Africa, they won't come see wetin no dey their country. We don already dey lie about our country, say na we be the best. When we want to make Nollywood movies, we go to selected places. Na only for inside Nigerian film wey students dey live for duplex. Students dey drive cars up and down. Na for Nigerian film. So we sell the lies to the other parts of Africa. So everybody wants to come to Nigeria. But when they come see the reality, come see Nigeria is next to ghetto, they now start getting confused. Some persons go even dey ask themselves whether they don miss road enter the wrong country. So she was like, Nigeria? I say, we no get light. Say, so what will happen? I say, light go still come, but na for evening. She said, how is she going? That heat don already dey do. I'm telling you of Cameroonian. Cameroon is trackable from Nigeria, literally. Cameroon is trackable from Nigeria. And I said, Shima, calm down now. I can't go on Jen. Immediately I turned on the gen. Okay, when I was going to turn on the gen, she was like, "Oh, at least hope day. Gen day for back." As I just drag gen on, rah, everywhere begin making. She said, "Oh God, the noise is too much. I can't bear this." This is 24th of December. Me, I don't already go, chop buruntashi, say person go run matters. 00 hour reach. Pikin say, bro, I'm not comfortable. We can't, you understand? We can't, I'm not comfortable. Based on love, that girl managed to stay with me the next day, 25th December. 26th December, Boxing Day, madam say, I am leaving this place. E be like play, e be like joke, but this is reality. I am leaving this place. I can't stay. I love you. I want to be with you. I wish for us to, be all we would have imagined ourselves to be. But I'm sorry, I can't stay in your country for another day. I am going back to my country. I've never seen this kind of thing before. I'm not joking. She left the next day. Leaving, she told me, bro, if you want anything to work between us, you would have to relocate to Cameroon. God bears me witness, I am not lying. Like I said, Cameroon na stone throw from Nigeria. You fit trek enter. If you waka reach Ikom, use bike, pass, there's a place in Etum. I've forgotten the name of that place. They go come drop you. You go use leg trek. No be track, normal road. You go use leg trek from Nigeria, enter Cameroon, Ekok. Ekok is Cameroon. Now, the funny part of it is that you can stand in Nigeria and you are seeing Cameroon. So as you stand for Nigeria, you dey look those houses where they there na Cameroon e be. But where you stand, maybe you go stand for that place for night. You go stand for darkness. They see another country wey dey for light. And then we wake up and start bragging about giant of Africa. I do not know what we brag about. This lady left till today. We still be friends, but now there you remain. You could see, okay, what if na that girl wey God don design say na him be my wife? You dey see how Nigeria dey destroy destiny. Because the destiny destruction like this, we dey feel say we dey always go pray for church, like one member of our family or one sin of the father or ourselves by ourselves. It is a lie. What destroys the destiny of Nigerians is the Nigerian political system. What if na that girl wey be say if say I marry am, everywhere go stew, we go come born next president, the two of us go come be, but because I am from Nigeria or I am in Nigeria or was in Nigeria or whatever, that one no dey again. I don't know if you get me. Nigeria, an empty vessel. You know how empty vessel? If you put water inside bucket, you can't carry stick, knack am, you no go really hear the sound because something dey inside. But put empty bucket, carry stick, you go just hear gron, 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 everywhere go begin make noise. That's what Nigeria is. We take pride in making noise, bragging over absolutely nothing. And your leaders have weaponized the education that the information doesn't go. People do not even know that Nigeria is so much down the line. A few people will build skyscrapers, have the VGC, the VI, the Asokoro, are not even to compare with. There are countries you go to, you visit their villages, and you that visited from Maitama or Asokoro will be feeling intimidated. Villages, we make noise and distract ourselves instead of us to concentrate and call these people that are sitting on our destinies to order, hold them accountable. I do not believe that it is only during election that you can replace your leaders. I am not that kind of a Democrat. I understand democracy enough to know that elections are not the only means by which irresponsible leaders are checked or kicked out of office. There are several other means, but Nigerians have, I told you the education is weaponized. Nigerians have been educated right from, or miseducated right from kindergarten to live with the idea and run with the idea that it is only through election that you can change your leaders in a democracy. That is absolutely false. But we don't know anything. The only thing we know is make noise and wait for 4 years. While waiting for 4 years, there are people who would have died as a result of the irresponsibility of governance. And one death is one too many. So, what are you saying and what are you doing? All right, we are in 2026. The next election is in 2027. What if you that is watching me, they can't kidnap you tomorrow? What if you step out and bad road, you already travel because of bad road, when I enter one ditch, motor fly, tumble, everybody buy. There are a lot. Nigeria lives and exists on what ifs. It could be me, so make you not confuse say na ill will. It could be anybody. Now for Nigeria, when you and person go, they talk like this, sound, everything dey okay. You go house, the next thing they don't call you, say the person don't die. E no sick. But you go dey think say e no sick. Something has been going on. Nigeria. But until we rise up and say enough is enough, this is never going to stop. Have a beautiful day.